John Ray, attorney for the victims in the Gilgo Beach case. John, this story is messy. I'm trying to come up with the right words to describe things that normally we don't talk about, except for in the privacy of our own home. But how do you know how credible these witnesses are?
Well, credibility is always an issue with every witness, no matter how strong the evidence can be. But in this case, for both witnesses, I interviewed separately for a total of 9 hours with one and approximately 7 to 9 hours with the other to check and cross-check their credibility. But I also had the benefit of the police commissioner himself, Rodney Harrison, to sit with this woman, one of them, and basically test her credibility for over an hour, and two detectives from the task force sitting with the other witness and with myself for about an hour and a half after I had done all this other test work on credibility. So I think the fact that the commissioner of police stood at that press conference yesterday when we revealed the affidavits speaks for itself as to credibility. He certainly is on board with the same view that I am, that these women were uniquely credible. They had details that they could express, each of them, that certainly would make you say, those details don't just pop up because somebody invents them. Both of those witnesses and the other two who gave us oral statements, none of them had any reason to come forward financially or to make a movie or to sign a book contract or anything of that sort whatsoever. They didn't want their names revealed even.
Well, you want closure for the women's families, those who were found murdered, killed at Gilgo Beach. But you've got one woman from the mid-'90s, another who's saying that she tried to report her story to a police tip line years ago. What does how old these stories are have to do with the credibility and with the feasibility of these particular accounts?
Well, of course, the older the story, the older the issues or the events anyway. People have memories that fade, that fail, that confuse things. All of those things were questionable in the cases of these women as well. We had to examine them, cross-examine them to see and test that memory because they could be acting in good faith and at the same time have a story that doesn't match. But in this case, they did. And they were unique discussions, unique factual issues that they were able to remember that pinpointed this factually to, what shall I say, to reality, to verification.
Okay, really. One quick question for you. A lot of these stories would make your mama blush. I mean, we can't go into detail here on Morning in America, but how many more people do you think there are and who are victims of this suspect?
Well, one of the girls serviced Heuermann 20 times in his home with his wife present, with Heuermann's wife present. So
20 times serviced. I like that terminology. I mean, not really, but I get it.
Yeah, I understand. I don't know how else you say it.
Yeah,
but in any event, she mentioned that there were many other sex workers who serviced Heuermann in his home, and over the course of 27 years, the filth, the muck, the mud that comes with this guy and his swinging partnerships and all the other sexual improprieties runs deep and runs wide in Suffolk County. And right below the crust of respectability is this sewage of sexual bad behavior all across the board. So there are many other people who are peripherally involved, and we're hoping some of them will come forward.
I know we're out of time, but producers, just bear with me one more time. Do you think was there a theory as to why these women died? Did this just go too far? Or do you believe that the suspect is just cruel and heartless and a killer?
There's a variety of theories in that regard. Each one of them has their own possibility. Nobody's sure yet, but it looks like he pursued these women as a hunter would. He was a hunter. It looks like it's possible that he was involved in a survivalist twisted, sick encounters with these women where he was a survivalist in the woods. It's possible that it looks like he would get angry with certain people and he would get vengeful and would hunt them down and would stalk them. Apparently, he kept stalking not only them, but other people as well. So all of these things, or any mixture or combination of them, are possible as to what his motive was for the killings. We have to
Sad.
look at them all. Yeah.
And again, innocent until proven guilty, but a lot of damning evidence there. John Ray, thank you for your time.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.